I'm often left feeling like I don't have a lot to share in these quarterly planner system updates because I'm really happy with everything that's going on in my planning system. Until now. There have been some major changes in my planner and journal lineup that I think might surprise you. Now, don't misunderstand. I'm still extremely happy with everything in my system, everything that was in my system, everything that currently is in my system. But, sometimes we get tempted to just try something new. And that's what I've kind of fallen into over the past few months. But before we get to those, let's start at the beating heart of my system, the part of my system that will never change. I know, never say never. Never say never. But the part of my system that is not likely to ever change, and that is my daily planner. My daily planner is housed in a standard traveler's notebook size book. I like to keep one book for the entire year, and I use this to plan out my schedule, to plan out, I don't know, events, life events that are going on. And I also do incorporate notes and memory keeping all in this one book. The book that I'm currently using is the Sterling Ink Common Planner, and again, it's the N1 size, so that is standard traveler's notebook size. And honestly, as it relates to the size, I cannot imagine using anything other than standard traveler's notebook for my daily planner system. It may not always be, a Sterling Ink Common Planner, but it will likely always be a standard traveler's notebook size. I've tried everything under the sun, I think. Pretty sure, bounds, rings, all the sizes, and this is where my love truly lies. So that's not going to change. The only thing I did switch up, I guess, in relation to how this looks is I switched out to a new cover for the third quarter. Maybe it'll last shorter than the third quarter, longer. I don't know. I just really wanted to switch back to my ostrich cover because it's beautiful and I love it. I have, however, thought of some things that I might be willing to switch up as it relates to my daily planner. Now, like I said, while the size is remaining the same, the fact that it's all in one book will likely remain the same. There's some thoughts that I have had about how I use it that I may be willing to switch up. Not doing that right now, but I'm hashing through some thoughts, and I'm actually going to get to that in a little bit. I'll explain to you those thoughts that I'm thinking of regarding changes that might be on the horizon, but we'll get to those in a minute. The next one that we can address is my everyday carry, and I'm calling it my everyday carry because that's what I started out calling it, but I don't really carry it anywhere. So it's not entirely an everyday carry. I did have a recent video of how I switched from Passport Traveler's Notebook back into pocket rings, and that's what I'm using, and I combined both a bound book and ring inserts. So you can check out that video to get a full look of everything that I have going on inside of this planner. So I guess that would be the main change. The fact that I'm combining both the bound book and the rings, that would be number one. Number two, the way that I'm using this so-called everyday carry, I feel like I need to call it something else also. Maybe I'll just continue to call it my EDC. I don't know. But the way that I'm using it has kind of shifted, kind of changed. And I guess that's based on where I'm going. That's the reason why it's changed. Anyway, you can watch that video for more details, but this is an integral part of my system. Can't live without it because it combines some work stuff or work information. It's things that I don't put with my daily planner, and that's why I like to have a separate planner for this information. Do I absolutely 100% need a separate planner? Not necessarily. I mean, it could be like a separate notebook, but we like planners. Also, I just wanted to get back into this ostrich cover as well, so that's why I made the switch. I love the Nolte 1180 that I use for my consulting work, and I needed those like calendar pages and other ring inserts in order to track other areas of my life while I'm out and about. So combining them just made the most sense for me. All right, and the next one is my journal. There isn't much to say about this one. My journal is my journal. It remains the same. I have taken a slightly different approach to journaling lately, which I will cover in an upcoming video, but I'm still journaling very regularly. Not every single day like I did when I first started out on my journaling journey, which there is a video on my channel about, but I'm still journaling very regularly. It's still a very important part of my system that I won't be letting go of. And the way that I have set this up for the year will remain. I don't see myself switching to like a different cover or anything, or changing any of the deco or anything like that for the entire rest of the year. Everything is going to remain the same. I could envision myself switching out of this size, maybe. It's standard traveler's notebook. I've tried A5, of course. Anything smaller, I feel like doesn't work. I think I could maybe use B6, because I feel like B6 is comparable to like a traveler's notebook size. I do really like A5 Slim. So with all those options out there, things could change in the future. I don't see that happening for 2024 at all, but you never know. It could change in the future. All right, my next one, which I do have a video on my channel covering the details and all the insides, is my companion planner, as I call it. It may also be known as like a reference planner, but it's things that I don't need to see on a daily basis, sometimes not even a weekly basis. I have finance information in here. I have household management information, health information, like when we go to doctor's visits, and home projects. So all those types of things are in here. Now, I have not touched this in quite a while. Aside from the meals and the meal planning, and even that has sort of switched up for my lifestyle at the moment. So like I'm not even doing that as much as I used to inside of the companion planner. So I do feel like it's just not getting love. It's not getting the amount of love that it deserves. I'm kind of okay with that because of the things that I've switched up in terms of how I use this, or those subject areas that I would have previously used the companion planner for. The main thing that's truly changed is my finances. So whereas I used to do like a bi-weekly budget, and I have budget sheets and, you know, breakdown on these inserts that I have in here, I've been doing budgeting a little bit differently, largely because I'm working as an independent contractor, so I'm not getting paid bi-weekly, right? So I need to budget on a different schedule. And also I have taken to relying a bit more heavily on doing my budgeting on a spreadsheet. So I previously used to do budgeting on a spreadsheet, but not even fully budgeting. It was kind of like finance tracking. So tracking savings and investments and all of that on a spreadsheet. But I wasn't doing like my bi-weekly like paycheck type budgeting on a spreadsheet. Like I said, since the way that I'm getting paid now differs, I have started using a spreadsheet for that because I find that to be a little easier or a bit more manageable to look into all the intricacies of what's coming in and what's going out. And because I love paper, and that's never going to change, I actually do have like a little notebook that I put inside of my daily planner. And it is currently actually one of the notebooks by Paper Test Designs, like one of those thin notebooks. I have stuff falling out. One of those thin standard traveler's notebook size notebooks that I will jot down things like on a weekly, I don't know, a couple times a week that I might need to transfer over into the spreadsheet, or just numbers that I need to be aware of before I am moving things around in different accounts. So I have been using that. So it's kind of like a combo system of using that thinner notebook and then updating the budgeting spreadsheet, which kind of leaves my companion planner pretty much out in the cold. So that's the reason why I haven't been reaching for this as often. So what will the future be for my companion planner? I really don't know. I don't really see myself using this much for the rest of the year, especially not as it relates to finances. It could be, I could kind of beef it up a bit more for home management and meal planning and all of that. So I think I may do a deeper dive into seeing how I can make this work for those purposes, because I don't currently have like a home management binder or system, but I do like the idea of having one. Like I've had one before. I don't know why I stopped. So maybe I will make this that in the coming months. We'll see. If I do, there's going to be a video. So be on the lookout for that. If anyone is interested in learning more about that budgeting spreadsheet or my budgeting workflow, feel free to leave a comment down below. I'm a little iffy about sharing financial information in any kind of way. I don't want people to take it as advice. That's not what I do. But if you're interested in maybe seeing a peek into that, I'll see what I can do. We'll work something out. Next up is my health planner. My health planner is my health planner. There are a few videos on this channel all about it. There will be more to come. It is a very important part of my system, and it's going to remain that way. Now, I mentioned in my companion planner that I would track medical information like doctor's visits and everything, and I have felt like for a long time I could do that in here. I haven't started that, but I could. Like, why not? Because this is a pretty big notebook with a lot of notes pages that are going unused. Considering this is like a health focus, I should put that medical information for myself and my family inside of here, but I haven't made that shift just yet. And it partially relies on some of those thoughts that I have that are on the horizon that I may look into a little later on in the year, or maybe for my 2025 planning system, which we'll get to soon. All right, my business planner. This we are still rocking together. It's still messy. It's still it's still working for me in every sense of the word. I have a video, of course. So it's the Take a Note planner combined with an A5 Stalogy that I have all in this one cover. What I've noticed, however, over the past few months, now 6 months of the year, is that I've been mostly using the planner for YouTube stuff. Less business stuff, more YouTube stuff. And for the business stuff, like I said, I'm doing some consulting work. So a lot of those day-to-day notes go in here that I can like throw away at the end of the year. And then other notes that I need to reference later, like some bookkeeping and financial type of information, maybe, I have been resorting to using the A5 Stalogy. So the actual planner in here, the Take a Note planner, I've not been using for business a whole lot. Kind of bothers me because I feel like, am I wasting space? I don't know. I tried to start using like the weeklies in the Take a Note in order to, and I don't have a video on this planner about how like I've used it. I can, but I just feel like it's so messy and it's all over the place. I have tried to use the structure of the Take a Note like for daily task lists as it relates to business, and that's okay because those are things that I don't put inside of my regular daily planner, so it can go someplace. But it's just not something I've been very consistent with. So for that reason, I don't know. And I don't want to write down the same tasks in here that I would put in my daily planner because I don't function that way. Even though I have a lot of planners, there's not really much redundancy at all. That would bother me greatly. So just finding a better use for the Take a Note planner, I think I could work on kind of, or I just feel like devoting it exclusively to YouTube. I guess because it wasn't my original idea, I'm fighting against it. I think maybe that's it. Maybe that's what it is. But it's working and I'm using nearly every page of it. So I don't know. But that is the current update. I feel like I'm relying a lot more on that A5 Stalogy, just like as a notebook, a reference book, things that I'll come back to later. And I actually need to add an index to that A5 Stalogy because I'm adding a lot of reference notes that I know I'll need to come back to later. Oh, now something else that I noticed about using the Take a Note also is the fact that I have been using Notion a little bit for YouTube video and content planning. And that's been working just fine. So then that also makes me feel like, do I need an actual planner for that? Like a whole book, you know, like actual paper planner for that? I don't know. I used to do all of this digitally on Trello, and that was a few years ago. I have since stopped. Then I switched to using paper, and now I've started using Notion a little bit more because I like that there are added functionalities to Notion that's kind of helpful. Like I can put any like video notes or scripts or anything also in there along with planning out when videos are going to post. So that seems like it might be a better option for the YouTube and social media portion of my life, but we'll see. I don't know what that means for the Take a Note planner or for the actual physical planner, but I could see myself just kind of whittling down to the digital portion of it with Notion and using that notebook for business. We'll see what happens. All right, the next one. The next one is my reading journal, which, I mean, I'll show you here, but you never saw this coming. You never saw this coming. This one has changed completely, and I'm really just holding this up as a prop because my reading journal has completely switched from this. It is no longer this. It is now digital. I know. You didn't see it coming because I didn't see it coming. My reading journal is now digital. Let me explain. So there are a few reasons that made me make that switch to doing my reading journal digitally. One was the fact that I was so far behind in my 2024 reading journal that I felt like catching up in this actual book would be no different than kind of starting something over or starting something fresh. So I had to really think about if I wanted to continue in this setup that I have or if I wanted to start something new. And by the way, the setup that I have is an A5 Stalogy. I started it in 2021, I think. And I intended to use this same A5 Stalogy for as many years as I could fit in this one book. Of course, I have a video which I'll reference down below for you or link it down below and up in the cards. So I had to decide if I wanted to continue with that for 2024. Since it feels like I'm so far behind and I'm starting fresh anyway, we could do something new. The second thing that happened was when I went to go, or when I was thinking about collecting all of the images for the books that I've read so far this year and needing to print them out, I was like, could I just save some printer paper? Like I could just do this digitally, right? Like I could just copy all of these little images that I'm finding and I'm putting on this one sheet of paper to print out. Why not just do it digitally? And then I went down the rabbit hole of trying to see if there's a such thing as a digital reading journal, and there is. I had no idea. I never knew. I had no idea. There's so many different types and versions of reading journals, so many videos that you can see on YouTube that show people's versions of digital reading journals. And I got really excited to try something new, really inspired to just try my hand at it too. So that's what I did. I did not purchase one, though I saw that there are many options available on like Etsy. I think that was the only place I looked, but I'm sure there are many options available that you could purchase. I built my own, and I say that with a little hesitancy because I'm used to building these things, like doing computer stuff like that. So it was not hard for me to do. I don't know if it would be simple for anyone else to do, but I just put my own together because there are certain spreads and certain things that I want from here that I want to be in the digital version. So it's just easier, I think, for me to do it that way. But also, I think I'm just going to do a dedicated video showing you how the reading journal works and what's been going on in it. But the main point is just the fact that it's fun. Like it's something new and exciting and it's been fun, and that's why I've been sticking to it and able to like update it and everything over the past couple of months. What does this mean for the future of my reading journal? I have no idea, because after the fun and the newness wears off, will I go right back to paper? Who knows? I love paper decidedly more than digital, like planning and journaling. So who knows? We'll see. But I feel like that was a shock or like a surprise that I would like it as much as I do. I am nearly caught up on updating, or caught up with updating everything that I've read and all the spreads that I like and tweaking them to the way that I would like them. So if anyone does want to see a more detailed video regarding that, feel free to leave that down below. Just let me know. All right, so that pretty much covers everything in my planning and journaling system that is worth mentioning. There are other journals and other things that linger around, of course, but these are the ones that are the main components in my system. Now we enter that spicy section of on the horizon. So what are some things that I envision might change in the future, whether it's near future, far future, things that I could see changing in my system. So for my daily planner, I've mentioned this before when I've talked about incorporating memory journaling into my actual planner as opposed to having a separate like memory journal. And I've been loving that. Now that has reignited my creativity, or the spark of creativity, the itch to be more creative in my daily planner. And that takes me back to my life as a bullet journaler, which I was like, I don't know, like 2017 to 2019. And I felt like that was a much more creative time in my planning life, and I kind of want to revisit that. So I'm wondering if I'd like to switch back to something that's a lot less structure. Again, I'm not doing it for this year, but I could for 2025. Maybe switch back to something that's a lot less structure, something that I can switch up and change like the weekly layouts however I want. If you're an OG on this channel, you will recall that's how I even ended up in standard traveler's notebook size in the first place. I had like one book that I was using for like monthlies and weeklies and one book for dailies. And in my weeklies, I would switch up the layouts regularly and just draw them in however I wanted. And while that did become slightly annoying, especially in busier seasons of life, I still enjoy it. So I wonder how I might incorporate a lot more creativity and bullet journal-esque ideas, maybe. And I may be wrong even calling it bullet journaling, but some more creativity into my daily planner. I don't know how that's going to look. We'll see how that pans out over or in a few months. We only have 6 more months of 2024. So who knows? That could completely change for 2025. And I'm actually quite excited about that. Another topic on that future horizon list is something I have started to explore because of that shift I've taken to using a lot more digital products in my system. And I have thought about why I've been preferring digital over paper, especially as it relates to my reading journal and my finances. Like, why have I made that switch when I so clearly prefer paper? And I think it's because those are items that I don't update every single day. So going in and using like my iPad to update them doesn't feel as weird as it does to fully rely on my iPad on a day-to-day, hourly basis. I haven't fully hashed those thoughts out, but that did lead me to wonder, like, what else in my planning system might I be okay with switching to digital? And one of those things is actually my health and fitness planner. I feel like because I don't update this daily, I update it maybe twice a week, I could see this being digital. I could kind of see this being digital, like a good place to capture notes on workouts or changes in like any type of improvements going on. I would love to see a graph of all those things like digitally. So I feel like this is something that could be digital. Now, I have looked into the options of digital health journals or health planners, and I don't see many. So that would leave me creating my own, which is still fine, because I would want it to incorporate every single thing that's in here in there. So because I felt like there was a lot of wasted space in here, since I'm not using a lot of those notes pages, that's another reason why I feel like a digital version of my health and fitness planner could work really well. Would I do that? I don't know, but it's something I'm entertaining and something I'm thinking about that could be a change that is on the horizon. So as you can see, I've taken a lot more of a digital shift over here. I'll say once again, I think for the 3rd time in this video, I do prefer paper, hands down. That's never going to change, but there are some facets and some ways that digital is not so bad. So I am shocked that I've come to this realization. Maybe shocked that I A, came to the realization, B, came to it like so late in life. Like, it's 2024, you know, get with the program. I don't know. I'll never get rid of paper, but in doing this entire roundup, I was really shocked at the shift that my planner and journaling system has taken over the past few months. It has left me feeling like, who am I? Like, do I even know myself? But that level of self-discovery is part of the fun of being in this planner community, so I welcome it with open arms. Thanks so much for watching my quarterly planner update. Tell me, is there anything that you've changed or you've shifted in your system since the start of the year? Is there anything that you could see yourself changing in the next coming months or even for your 2025 system? I know we've all been kind of thinking about what's coming up for 2025. Let me know down in the comments. I want to hear about it. I want to see, like, maybe you'll inspire me to make certain shifts or to stay right where I am. Again, thank you so much for following along on today's video, and I'll see you in the next one.